privilege to say whatever he wants to with impunity, with immunity as well. It makes you cringe because you have to wonder what kind of system is it? Is he saying now to the executive, to the judiciary that, you know, they got it wrong in the first instance, you make sure you get it right when it's on appeal? I mean, that could be the conclusion drawn. And that's the wrong approach that someone of his standing ought to be engaged in. I think that we owe it to this nation and to, you know, to try to better our system, and so far that is not becoming from the chief executive officer.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, and I know, John, you know, his comments were very, to me, not really complimentary. And certainly having appeared before Justice Isaacs, I think that he is one of the better judges. To
me, he's the consummate judge. I mean, not just because he's my cousin.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I got to disclose that he's my family.
Okay.
But I find him to be consummate judge because when I appear before him, Paul, I find he has such a bearing. He doesn't show favor one way or the other. Now here it is, I'm related to him, but when I've appeared for him, I've been on an equal plane with the party on the other side. He does, in the courtroom, he has no favorites.
Yeah, he's a
for
good
him
judge.
to be attacked in that manner, I was a little bit upset. But you know, I was equally upset with the Commissioner of Police's press conference in making reference to the young boy who died in the car crash. And subsequently it's discovered that he had a bullet behind his head. Now, he in his press conference said, you know, it's a complex matter. Or it wasn't a press conference, I think it might have been one of the early morning shows. And he said, you know, it's a complex matter. Now, why is it complex that you don't take those officers involved into a room and interrogate them the way you interrogate ordinary, everyday people? Because, you know, when the commissioner of police talks, the people in Baintown, the people in Grantstown, in St. Agnes, in Kemp Road, in Foxhill, they know about the police. Their children get beat. Their doors get kicked in. Paul, I mean, you from St. Cecilia, and I think it's the same thing in your community, eh?
There's no doubt. I think that up and down around this country, people know that the aggressiveness of the police is legendary. And when people hear that the police coming, it's almost like eradication, you know.
Okay, Paul, we're gonna come right back to that. We're gonna have to take a little break, but you know, I think this is such an important point. You know, I want you to come back. I want you to dig into it, because I think we need to expose to the nation what is wrong and how we can get it right. And I think in the second half, I want you to focus on how we can get it right.
Okay.
We'll be right back. Thank you very much.
A long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will.
Why not take all of me? I'm singer, songwriter, guitarist Toulouse here in beautiful Nassau, Bahamas at the Bahamas Jazz Festival. You're watching JCN, Channel 14. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. We were just, before we took the break, we were just discussing the disparity between the way the police have responded to the death of the young boy who was allegedly died in a car crash. He was found was shot behind his head, and as a complex matter, and the matter with your clients, the way they treat ordinary, everyday people, Brother Moss. I mean, like I was saying before the break, they kick down people's doors, they slap people, they talk to them with no respect. Grandmothers and parents are treated as though they're, and talked to by young fellas, I would call them young punks, they're young children. To elders, they're not showing that respect when they speak to them in the community. And I would like, from the perspective of your case, the contrast with the way they've treated your clients. A grandfather, a father, and a young child in the family, where they're treating these police officers.
Right. And I guess to really crystallize the question, the contrast is that in instances involving the police where they are accused of crimes, you do not see them being accused publicly. You don't see them being arrested, called in for questioning. But if they're, on the other hand, civilians being accused of crimes, you see where they are arrested, where in some instances photographs are leaked on the internet all over the place.
They leak photographs on a regular basis, you think?
Well, the evidence is there. If the police have a photograph and then it appears elsewhere, one can only conclude that it came from the police.
Yeah.
And I think that's the correct assumption. But yes, there's this disparity, and I believe that what needs to happen, quite frankly, is that we need more training.
Yeah.
You cannot expect these officers to be trained properly if, in fact, after their police college, you have to check the college itself to see whether that's working or if it's still appropriate today. But when they go on the job, they are then under the supervision of someone who is not trained.
But Brother Moss, I mean, can you train this thing? I mean, all right,
I think it is training.
From the Commission of Inquiry on Drugs back in the 80s, there was a finding by the Commission that the police force, our Immigration Department, our Customs Department, basically our political structure was riddled with corruption. You had high-ranking police officers who were engaged in the drug trade or facilitating it. This was the finding of the Commission. Now, we've never had an inward-looking process where we've had them in a Commission of Inquiry about the way policing is done in the country. And what I want to put to you, if we were to go to Baintown, I pick Baintown because Baintown is close to my heart, just like Camp Road. They're close to my heart. But if we go to Baintown or Camp Road, and we were to hold a Commission of Inquiry, myself and you, and I may challenge you to do this one day, I would venture, that we would see a significant amount of evidence coming forth. Like you were saying something to me about the Truth
and Reconciliation
Commission in South Africa.
Right.
And that's why I would like to pose this question to you. In the context of the past 30, 40, 50 years of policing in this country, what do you think a Truth and Reconciliation Commission will uncover if they were to go into Baintown and Rupert Dean Lane or Augusta Street?
Yeah, if we were to commission one of those, I think it would be phenomenal for the country, actually, because it would allow persons to come in, say exactly what they knew to be the truth, and in fact, you know, have immunity, essentially. So it would encourage police officers to come in and say, you know, I planted evidence that I killed someone, I hurt someone. It would encourage people to really talk about their experiences with the police. And this is a healing process.
I think so.
That's the way it works, because then you could leapfrog right now where we are to something better, where people would have trust again in the police force. But today, if you take a poll today, I think that the morale between the public and the police is at an all-time low because of the various high-profile incidences involving the police, where the police have been accused of acts that, you know, they're charged with detecting and policing.
Well, I mean, who's policing the police? You know, Paul, in England, you have police authorities, and you have visiting committees, so people can do spot checks in the lockups to see, and you have the Police and Criminal Evidence Act that makes them record everything that's done and videotape it. So we don't have the protections that other systems offer to people, and even those systems are not perfect.
And you're right, but I don't think that you can blame the police for that totally.
But I blame your Prime Minister and leader opposition for that.
Well, yeah, they're part of it, but the problem rests with Parliament, all of Parliament, because in many instances, a lot of them are lawyers who really would know better and ought to know better to know that every single individual have rights, particularly human rights.
Now you're trying to get in Parliament too.
Now, this is why I'm running for office.
You're a lawyer too.
But so that's why I'm running for office.
Let me ask you now, Brother Moss, when you get in the House, how you going to carry on? Are you going to